The next morning, after Cator explains the message from Tam, the pilgrims find a drunk outside the bar and learn that he is General Eyes, a veteran from the Elven military who lost his wife in a war. Silentfee jabs him several times and unlocks one of his chakra points, making him disgusted by the taste of alcohol forevermore. He runs inside and orders a drink, but spits it up and shouts.
What did you do to me?
Silentfee tells a bit about himself.
I was assaulted by agents of the Lost Light. They killed me in my temple. These people you speak of, General, they kill your wife, but you are killing your life.
You are now the captain of the new town guard here. If you find anyone causing unnecessary harm, you can deal with them accordingly. Perhaps put them in the new prison for an amount of time proportional to the crime.
Says Cator.
Prison?
Go look by City Hall. The old mayoral council are the first prisoners.
Returning to the barn, Cator instructs Herbert that the 25% share of the profits will now go to General Eyes to fund the town guards.
But he's a drunk.
Not anymore.
Not now, but what about tomorrow?
I wager my ownership of the barn that he will never become a drunk again. Now then, 368 days in a year, 10 silver a day, and a quarter of that goes to General Eyes. And I'm paying up front for the next year. I'm not sure how long we'll be gone.
Jack notices a dire goat-sized bite mark in one of the metal support beams in the barn and sees the bitten-off chunk resting on the ground. He holds it up to the pole and casts mending to repair it.
I think Bob learned his lesson about that.
Dark clouds blow in quickly and night falls. Darkness encompasses the pilgrims and they hear the sounds of membraned wings flapping. Some mages that look suspiciously like vampires open a portal and urge the pilgrims to go quickly.
Don't go swimming.
They warn before the pilgrims head through. Snow-capped mountains in the distance, with scrublands in all directions, the pilgrims scout the area and make camp. Strange geometric-shaped terrain with no trees, it is difficult for them to understand at first. After a day of hiking, they get partway up one of the mountains and see a lake in the distance, with chunks of pink in discolored water. They don't understand what it is, but they remember the vampire's warning and stay clear from it. Near the top of the mountain, they find a frozen corpse wearing red leathers and carrying a sack of frozen meat and a dagger engraved with a message written partially in a dialect of giant and partially in a different language. Cator reads,
Big something. I don't know what the second word is.
On the downward journey from the first mountain, they encounter unusually large vultures, who seem very aggressive. They cast speak with animals and convince the birds that they can't eat the pilgrims because the pilgrims aren't rotten, and it would make the vultures sick to eat fresh meat. They point the vultures to the floating chunks of meat in the discolored water, and they fly off. They continue on to a valley between two mountains and find a building made from a giant pelvis bone with a fence made from ribs. They camp nearby in a giant skull half buried in the side of the mountain. Jack sends Thoraxia to scout ahead and finds beyond the pelvis building is a whole village made from giant's bones. There is a massive pile of meat, and humanoid creatures dig their hands in and eat it raw. Looking closer, Jack sees through Thoraxia's eyes that the humanoids are painted with blood all over their bodies, and the pile of meat is dripping wet with blood. They look around the interior of the skull and see tool marks, scratches, as if someone had scraped off the meat and brain from inside. The pilgrims camp in the skull overnight, with Cator taking first watch. He wakes Thoraxia for second watch, since no one had volunteered. Thoraxia tries to wake a very groggy Nyx for third watch, pointing toward one of the ocular openings of the skull. Nyx crawls like a worm in his sleeping bag and positions himself to watch out the opening. In the morning, the pilgrims wake to see a pile of leaves in the corner has been disturbed, and Nyx is asleep. They investigate and find a narrow opening that leads downwards into darkness. Silentfee jumps down, bounces off the walls on the way down, and splashes into liquid that goes up to his chin. A small opening far off in the distance lets in some light, and he sees the water is deep red. He draws his glowing sword and inspects the cave to see the walls are dirt and stone and bone, and the liquid is blood. In the roof, he sees what could only be the rib cage of the giant whose skull they had camped in. He crawls back up and tells the others, who appear to be unmoved by the blood covering their friend. Kator and Jack take up watch on top of the skull, while Silent Fee sneaks into the bone village. To Jack's eyes, the people walking around near the well in the village look like tiny specks. But Kator can see them clearly after so many years training with long-range bows and hunting camouflaged prey at distance. Silent Fee hears an argument between a mother and a child after the child refuses to eat a chunk of raw organ meat from the pile in the town square. He can't understand what they are saying, but he knows they are irritated with each other. Then 2 adult men come by and grab the child. The mother stares indifferently as they pick him up and throw him down the well. None of the other people in the town square seem to care. Some don't even look at the screams of the boy or the loud thud, crunch, splash when he hits the bottom. The boy continues to cry and wail from the bottom of the well for a few moments, then only whimpers, then silence. Silent Fee waits for the adults to clear away from the well and climbs down. At the bottom, he feels squelches of flesh being crushed under his feet, and he splashes up to his chin again in blood. The boy is several feet away, hugging a rock by the wall and hyperventilating in fear and pain. Silent Fee punches him on the back of the head to knock him out and carries him over to the opening under the skull. With the boy slung over his shoulder, he climbs up the hole and lays the boy on the pile of leaves. Kator sees the boy's legs are broken in several places, with bones sticking out, and casts sure wounds to heal him. The boy screams, and his bones snap back into place, and his muscle and skin heal over top. Kator speaks in giant.
Safe. We no hurt you.
The boy looks frightened and repeats.
Hurt.
Kator stammers,
No hurt. Heal.
and points to the boy's legs. The child relaxes some, and Jack says,
I can help.
before casting comprehend languages on Kator and the boy.
Are you okay? What's your name?
My legs feel much better now. My mama calls me boy.
What were you saying at the meat pile?
I didn't want to eat it. That's all we ever eat. I don't like it. I want other things to eat. But mommy got mad and said I had to eat it. And then...
The boy breaks off into sobbing and crying.
Jack, get him some plant food. Do you have apples?
Jack pulls out an apple from his bag of holding and hands it to the boy.
What part does this come from?
It comes from a tree.
What's a tree?
The boy says as he takes a bite of the apple. Kator notes that the boy's teeth are not sharp like a predator's would be.
Why did the men throw you in the well?
Because mommy didn't want me anymore.
Do a lot of mommies throw away their boys and girls?
Yeah, sometimes when they don't behave. Or sometimes when there's too many kids. Or if there's not enough food.
And the only food is always the pile of meat?
Yes, the pile of food.
The boy hands back a half-eaten apple.
You talked like the big men. Does that mean you are going to protect me?
What big men? The adults?
No, the really big men. The ones that protect and feed all the villages in the valley.
Giants protect your village?
That's what mommy says.
Have you ever seen a giant alive?
No, but when mommy tells stories, she talks like what you did.
Does she say where the living giants might be?
East. There's a kingdom of giants there, and the oldest one is king. That's what the stories say.
Do you ever see birds or bats flying around?
Yes, there are always crows and vultures.
What about bats?
Sometimes, I think. Or maybe that was just stories and dreams.
What about dragons?
What's a dragon?
A flying lizard.
No, I've never seen a lizard fly.
And what about a lizard with wings?
Nope. Maybe the giants have. They are pretty tall. They could see far away.
Do children ever come back to the village after going away?
No.
Then you're coming with us.
What?
Jack, get him some pants.
What's pants?
Kator points to his knee and says,
Like a shirt, but for legs.
Jack finds some leather pants that used to be Robin's and gives them to the boy. Kator turns around and the boy attempts to dress himself but doesn't know how to put on pants. After hearing the struggles, Kator turns around, rolls his eyes, and helps the boy put on the pants. There is no belt, but the ranger takes a knife and cuts a strip from the hem of the boy's shirt robe and fastens it into a drawstring belt. Jack turns around and sees the boy struggling against the belt.
Too tight.
Jack uses mold stone to make a belt buckle so the boy can easily tighten and loosen the pants himself. Kator helps the boy put it on and shows how to tighten and loosen it.
Now you need a name. What do you want us to call you?
Leg shirt.
Kator chuckles.
How about Leo or Lioness?
Okay.
All right, Lioness. Are you ready to meet the giants?
Yeah.
The boy screams and takes off running out of the cave. Kator casts Hunter's mark and tracks the boy, but it seems unnecessary as the boy keeps poking his head back around mountain corners and hilltops as they walk. When they get to a river of blood, the boy says to follow the way it flows. But he says he hasn't gone much farther than this before. In the early afternoon, the group approach a fork in the river. Cat-sized ants wander around, drinking the blood from the river or carrying things in and out of the anthill. Kator tries to calm one of them, and it crawls up him and rests on his shoulder. Another follows the pheromone trail and tries to attack, but Silenfi covers the trail by kicking up sand. They go south at the fork, following the downward slope of the land. Several hours later, they hear a noise like thunder and feel rumbling under their feet. They look up to see a rock slide headed right for them. Nix gets hit and knocked underwater, being held down by the boulder. Jack dives below to rescue the druid, but the boulder is too heavy and his stone shape can just barely take half of it away. Kator and Silenfi walk across the surface of the bloodwater and reach down to help the others up. The water is much clearer here, but still tinted red. Jack erects a statue from the half-boulder, a pristine recreation of the image of a boulder hitting Nix. Nix punches him in the shin, but they laugh it off.
Thanks for saving me.
He says quietly. As evening approaches, the pilgrims exit the river ravine and find themselves on a sandy beach overlooking a lake that goes over the horizon. Small islands dot the lake, and a giant lily pad floats in the center. In the dim light, the ranger's sense of direction abandons him, and he forges across the lake thinking it is east. The others follow, curious to explore some of these islands after seeing trees and grass on them. The boy sits atop Nix in the beast shape of a water strider and gapes at the strange sights. The boy had never seen green before, nor had he tasted blue water, nor smelled air free from the scent of rotting flesh.
Bleh. This water tastes bad.
He complained to Nix and the others.
And the air smells funny. I don't like it.